All right, so you think you know about the CIA. Think again, because today we're diving into some declassified CIA documents about parapsychology. Yeah, you heard that right. Parapsychology.
Buckle up.
We are looking at a document straight from the CIA's Stargate collection.
Ooh.
Sounds like something out of a spy movie, right? It's titled 01379, Larcher, Hubert, Parapsychology, Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow.
Catchy.
Now, this document is dated November 4th, 2016. But get this, it was released to the public back in 2000.
Interesting.
Why the lag?
Well, it speaks to the secrecy surrounding these programs. The CIA's interest in parapsychology really took off during the Cold War.
Yeah.
Both the U.S. and the Soviet Union were locked in this intense rivalry.
Okay.
And they were exploring every possible avenue for advantage, you know?
Yeah, I bet. It's like straight out of a Cold War thriller. And this document kind of gives us a little glimpse into that world. One of the most bizarre stories it tells is about this man named Dable, who could allegedly make himself bleed on command. According to the document, Dable would just be sitting there, and blood would start trickling down his leg. They even had doctors observing, making sure there were no tricks, no cuts, nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the document describes how they used magnifying glasses to examine his skin, and they couldn't find any explanation for the bleeding. It's a truly baffling account, and it speaks to the CIA's interest in what they called objective metapsychics, or paraphysics. Basically, they were looking for observable, measurable events that seemed to defy the laws of physics.
So was the CIA hoping to create super spies who could control their bodily functions at will?
Right.
I mean, imagine the possibilities. If you could control bleeding, you could fake injuries, divert attention. It sounds crazy, but in the context of the Cold War, maybe not so much.
It's certainly a possibility. You're right. The document itself doesn't explicitly state their intentions. But given the context of the Cold War and the nature of their research, it's a reasonable speculation. They were exploring the potential of the human mind for things like espionage, intelligence gathering, even influencing enemies from afar.
Wow, that's mind-blowing. And you know what else kind of caught my eye in this? This whole idea of dermal optical perception, or DOP.
Okay.
They were looking into whether people could actually see colors with their skin.
See colors with their
Just
skin.
imagine that.
Wow. It sounds like science fiction, but the document details experiments where subjects were asked to identify colors while blindfolded using only their skin.
Wow.
They even used different materials like glass and aluminum foil to see if that affected the supposed ability.
Okay, so I've got a guy who can supposedly bleed on command and people trying to see with their skin. This document is already stranger than fiction, but then it takes an even wilder turn. Straight into the heart of Haitian voodoo.
Haitian voodoo. You're right, that's where things get really interesting. This is where the CIA's investigation into parapsychology intersects with cultural beliefs and practices that are often misunderstood or misrepresented.
And I gotta admit, the idea of the CIA looking into voodoo rituals, it's like something out of an Indiana Jones movie, right?
Right.
What exactly did they find?
Well, the document itself, it doesn't really go into great detail about like specific rituals. Um, It focuses more on the purported phenomena associated with voodoo,
Okay.
particularly those that seem to defy conventional explanation.
Okay. Like what? Give me some examples.
Well, for instance, the document mentions accounts of individuals walking through fire unharmed.
What?
Yeah. They also delve into the concept of zombie states, exploring the possibility of like altered consciousness, and even the idea of controlling another person's will.
So they were interested in the potential for mind control.
Potentially, yeah.
I guess it makes sense given their interest in parapsychology and everything else, but still it's a bit unsettling to think about them exploring these kinds of practices.
Yeah, and it's crucial to remember that the document presents these accounts without passing judgment on their validity. It's more about documenting these alleged phenomena and trying to understand the cultural context surrounding them.
Right.
The CIA's interest likely stemmed from a desire to understand the potential applications of these practices, whether real or imagined, in an intelligence context.
Okay, that makes sense. So we can step back for a moment. Like, what's the connecting thread running through all of this? We've got bleeding men, color-seeing skin, voodoo rituals. It's a lot to take in. What does this document tell us about the CIA's mindset at the time?
Well, I think what's fascinating here is that the document reveals a willingness to explore seemingly far-fetched ideas, even those rooted in like folklore or cultural practices that might have been dismissed by mainstream science at the time. The Cold War created this atmosphere of intense competition, And it seems the CIA was open to exploring any avenue that might give them an edge, however unconventional it might seem.
It's a bit like they were casting a wide net, hoping to catch something truly extraordinary. Did they ever find any concrete evidence to support these paranormal claims?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
The document itself doesn't offer any definitive conclusions. It presents a collection of accounts, experiments, and theories, but it stops short of confirming or denying the existence of parapsychological phenomena.
So we're left with more questions than answers. That feels very on brand for the CIA, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's part of what makes these declassified documents so intriguing. They offer a glimpse into the shadowy world of intelligence gathering, where the lines between fact and fiction can become blurred.
You know, looking at this document today, it's hard not to feel a sense of skepticism, but then again, we're talking about the CIA, an
Right.
organization that deals in secrets and shadows. Is it so hard to believe that they might have uncovered something truly strange and inexplicable?
That's the question you're left grappling with, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's something for you to ponder as we move forward.
When you really think about it, this document really makes you question what's real and what's not. You know what I
I
mean?
know what you mean.
We dismiss these paranormal claims as like, the stuff of fiction and fantasy, but here we have the CIA taking them seriously enough to investigate.
Exactly. It makes you wonder, what else were they looking into that we don't know about? What other secrets are buried in those archives, just waiting to be uncovered?
Right. It's a crazy thought. And it speaks to the enduring allure of the unknown, you
Yeah.
know? We are just naturally drawn to mysteries, to the possibility that there might be more to reality than meets the eye.
Yeah, and in a way, this document reminds us that we're still grappling with those same questions today. I mean, we may have made incredible advances in science and technology, but there are still corners of the universe and even corners of our own minds that remain unexplored.
Yeah, so where does this leave us? What's the takeaway from this deep dive into the CIA's foray into parapsychology?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is the importance of remaining open-minded and questioning our assumptions. The CIA, for all its secrecy and sometimes questionable methods, was willing to explore the fringes of science, to entertain the possibility that there might be more to the world than we currently understand. That's a valuable lesson for all of us.
It really is. It's a reminder to approach the world with a sense of curiosity, to never stop asking questions, and to be open to the possibility that the truth
The truth is out there.
might be stranger than fiction.
It just might be.
So the next time you hear a story that sounds too wild to be true, remember this deep dive in the CIA's exploration of the paranormal. You never know what might be lurking just beyond the veil of the known.